So I know I shouldn't have done it. But once in a while, I like to treat myself to a bag of Doritos. So I find a gas station and I grab a bag, decent sized bag, go up to the counter, and what previously was the 25-cent bag, which I know became the 50-cent bag, is now the $2.50 bag. Yeah. I bought it anyway. I mean, it's only once in a while. But the bag of Doritos, previously 25 cents, then went to 50 cents, is now $2.50. So I pop open the bag, and I'm on my way home. Bite into the chip. Noticed it's about half as thick as it used to be. These chips are thin now for $2.50, and you get half the chip, and half the bag is full of air. I thought to myself, who could possibly be responsible for this? It was aggravating. I finished my chips. Not very satisfying. But what are you going to do? The next day I get up, go to work, end up walking around downtown, listening to some music on my cell phone, getting really, really bad service. Slow internet. Like, what the heck is going on? And then I see this black SUV driving down the street, really slow. And inside are four men with shades, suits, and white colored shirts. And then I see the earpieces, and I'm like, oh, okay. Secret Service. Well, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. So I figured somebody was coming to New York at some point. Usually they drive around, or they poke their noses in places like a day or two before. And then came today. The worst cell phone service ever. At about, what time was it? I think it was about 3 o'clock or 3:30. Internet cuts in and out every 20 seconds. It's like you're watching something, 20 seconds, it freezes. 20 seconds, it plays. 20 more seconds, it freezes again. In and out, in and out. I'm like, what in the hell? So I go ahead, search online, and wouldn't you know it, there are 2.5 presidents in Lower Manhattan. And of course, the Secret Service is screwing up everybody's cell phones because they don't, well, there's a reason why they do it. For certain devices that are activated by phone, if you get my meaning, they don't want your phones to work properly. Plus, they're monitoring your texts. Should you text specific keywords, it pops up on their radar. So we deal with that for most of the day. And then I say to myself, you know what? When I go home, I'm going to find some time to finally go over that debate. And now's that time. Really, there's not a whole lot to say about the debate. Neither one of them really answered the questions that were asked of them. The first question that was asked of Kamala was about, do you feel the economy is better off today than it was it 4 years ago or whatever? She wouldn't answer the question. And by not answering that question, it was a no. Because if somebody asked me, do I feel my work is better today than it was 10 years ago, I would say without hesitation, yes. And if I don't answer, that's pretty much a no. Same thing goes for Trump. There were several questions that he was asked that he just didn't answer. Um, but really, there's only one or two things that I kind of want to talk about regarding the debate. I mean, first off, the debate itself was heavily biased. They were only fact checking Trump, which looked really weird. Um, what else? Other than them only fact checking him, the both of them really didn't answer any questions. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be. And as far as presidents go, I already know who I'm voting for, and it's for two reasons primarily. One, I don't want any more wars. While I don't know what Kamala is going to do when she goes in there, I do know that when Trump was in office, there were no wars, and he actively um, made an effort to keep the peace with North Korea, with Russia. It was it was pretty calm. Felt pretty safe. And the second thing that I'm really interested in is getting a good tax return. I know that when Trump was in office, I got a really good tax return. And I know when Biden was in office, I owed money. So I would prefer to get back money than owe money. And I'm pretty much assuming that Kamala is just going to be an extension of Joe Biden. It would make sense if she was. But besides that, besides those two things, she does a few things that kind of bother me. Uh, One is the constantly changing of her beliefs on certain things. Now, there's nothing wrong with changing your opinion or your belief on something in and of itself, but it kind of feels like she's catering to her donors. Whereas, like for instance, in fracking, she initially was not interested in fracking. She didn't want fracking. She was going to ban fracking. But then she gets donations from the oil companies, and now she's open to fracking. Now, obviously, when somebody donates to you, they want something. They want something in return. And if you can give it to them, you probably should just to get the money. But it's like all of her beliefs are malleable because of this. And it bothers me. It bothers me a bit. On top of that, it's the whole when we go to policies, she doesn't really have any policies. Not really. She went on TV and she said that she was looking to give a lot of money away. She had money for people to buy houses, money for people to start up businesses, money for people with kids, money for rent. She's basically saying she's going to give a whole lot of money out if she gets elected. And it kind of felt like she's trying to buy a vote. It didn't sit well with me. But yeah, that was the gist of the debate. They went back and forth on some stupid things, and they took jabs at each other. I mean, you can always go and watch it, and 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 see how it was conducted. Look at the links that ABC posted. Every single link they posted was a fact check for Trump. They didn't fact check Harris at all, which I thought was a little weird. There were some definite things that they could have fact checked her on, and they should have kept it kind of equal. But whatever. I think the most interesting thing that I'm walking away with from this debate is the question of, well, I'll just play it and then we'll get into the reasons why I find it interesting.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people
I'm
on
taking
television
it from the city
saying
manager.
Their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
Now, while I don't necessarily believe that people are walking around eating people's dogs and cats, I did see a video, and it was pushed on another site, of a woman who had eaten a cat. I watched the entire body cam from that, and that was a couple of weeks ago. I actually saw it. I remember it from. The woman was having a mental breakdown, and she grabbed a cat and she ate it on the street. So I don't think that directly points to the people that they say are eating cats. I don't think that's evidence of that. But the ducks. See, Trump's mistake was reading the Post. That article came out of the Post saying that people were eating people's cats and dogs. You never believe the Post. The Post is a scandal rag. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's all conspiracy theories and lies for the most part. So I think him getting the information from there was the first mistake he made. Then he said he saw it on TV and he saw videos and stuff like that. There are some videos of people saying that cats and dogs are going missing. But I think the most credible of them are from a town hall meeting. I don't think they're eating cats and dogs, but I do think they're eating the ducks that are in the parks. Have a look at this.
People that's bringing them down here, because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
Respect for our people, our land, or our life's work. People living their life here the way they did in Haiti. Angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth, and acting like animals. These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill, lying there in front of anyone that passes by. Stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play. Relieving themselves in public. Making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop. What will become of Springfield? Where will we be in 5 years? The thought terrifies me. Will it be some sort of dystopian wasteland with most of our original residents having moved away and those that cannot afford to move being locked inside their homes, living in fear? This thought is keeping me awake at night. I just want the old Springfield back. I know it was far from perfect, but at least it was still ours.
Yesterday, and I did not have an opinion either way on supposedly the ducks being killed or people's pets being taken and eaten. So I thought I'd come down to the infamous Snyder Park, where these animals reside. They don't migrate here. They are pets here, and they are a protected animal. They're so domesticated now that they're not afraid of humans, so they'll walk right up to you and want to get fed. And I haven't been down here in a while, but last time I was here, there could have been close to 100 ducks and probably dozens of geese And I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what's left. So they're not disappearing in the way that people are claiming they are. Where'd they go? So anyways, I'm going to turn the camera around. We'll take a look. As you can see, it's just a handful of small ducks over there. And there's an adult. But where are the rest? I mean, there was dozens down here. Where do y'all go? They live here. So, I'm not claiming either way what's happening to them, but it is credible evidence that they're gone. So, saying that,
Now, do I believe they're eating cats and dogs? Probably not. Probably not, but you never know. I do, however, believe they're eating the ducks. There's a lot of evidence that points towards they're eating the ducks. And honestly, if they're eating the ducks, it's not too far off to eat a cat or a dog. But again, I think it's more likely the ducks than the cats and dogs. So they went ahead and they fact-checked Trump and they said, there's no evidence that pets are being eaten and whatever. But they didn't talk about the ducks. That last video showed a lot of baby ducks and like one or two adult ducks. And people are saying that they're seeing the ducks getting taken and their heads chopped off and they're finding the heads. And ducks are obviously missing. So, I don't think he was entirely wrong about that. Now, the problem, again, that I have that's going on is, one, a lot of illegals are coming in, and that in and of itself isn't a huge problem for me. I have spoken to some people in the past in the Texas area and the New Mexico area who were saying that it is a huge problem, these people coming in. But the problem for me, because I see these guys every day, I see the migrants every day on my way to work. I see them in the train station, I see them on the streets, I see them around hotels. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Now, just them existing is not a problem for me. Even to a smaller extent, them receiving these debit cards with cash on it so they can buy food, what they end up doing is they go and they buy like fruits and hot sauce and cups and things like that, and they chop this stuff up and they'll sell it on the street. They're making on average triple their money, about $100 to $300 a day, which is better than being unemployed, if you ask me. At least they're going out and working for it. Now, they are getting this money from taxpayer money. If that were the only situation where we were giving out money, I wouldn't have a huge problem with what's going on. Harris says that her plan, if she gets elected into office, is to give people money for down payments on homes, give people money for starting up new businesses, give people money, additional tax breaks for if you have more children, and other things like that. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. Me personally, I would rather earn money and be able to save more money and get that money back in a tax break or, tax return or whatever. Add on top of that we're giving money to migrants. Okay, we're giving away a lot of cash here. Add on top of that we're giving money to other countries in sums equaling billions of dollars. There's billions of dollars leaving this country, billions of dollars being spent on illegal immigrants, and apparently, with her new plan, billions of dollars will be spent to give people startup businesses and whatever, well, down payments on homes and what have you. Oh, not to mention, there's already, I think, a thing in, is it Florida or California, where if you are an illegal immigrant, they will give you money to purchase a house. So we're giving away so much money. And if you just look around you, I saw today on the train a veteran, well, apparently a veteran. He was dressed in veteran clothing. He had the military jacket. He had an old military hat. His jacket said Army, and his hat had the name of the ship that he might have served on, or served with, or whatever. He looked pretty disheveled. I mean, he wasn't balling or anything. Didn't look like he was earning too much money. His clothes were very old, very dirty, very ripped. He was carrying around plastic bags and things like that. He sat down and he ate a brick of cheese, an entire brick of cheese, and then washed it down with a bottle of Mad Dog. And I'm like, okay, okay. Now, in addition to veterans being in a poor state, not being able to find proper housing, a lot of them are homeless, a lot of them not being able to get proper health care. In addition to them being in a messed up state, we do have a homeless population. We have just above the homeless population, we have people that are barely surviving, poor people living like 8, 9, 10 to a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. We have people earning minimum wage, just barely able to make rent, living in these basement apartments. We have lots of people who are struggling with paying tuition, paying back student loans, lots of different things, childcare. There's lots of situations out there that could really benefit from all of the money that we're spending, the billions that we're spending on other countries and on illegal immigrants. It's kind of a slap in the face for you to say we don't have enough money for the people who live in this country who are in trouble, but we have enough money for people in other countries who are in trouble. Let's take care of home first before we even think about other countries. And that's a problem I'm having with some of the talk that's going on. In addition to these pet ducks anyway, being eaten, people coming in from other countries used to catching creatures out in the wild, butchering them up and eating them. Now they're doing it here. I don't know. We got a lot to clean up, and I don't think the incentive is there for every candidate to look out for the people who are struggling here. That is something I would like to see in addition to no more wars, better tax returns. I would like to see a candidate actually cater to and take care of the people that are here. We have a lot of people that are really bad off, and over the course of my life, no one's been looking out for them. I've been very fortunate. You know, I've always been somewhere in the middle. I'm not so close to the bottom that, every time a price goes up, I'm worried about it. But I'm not so far up near the top that I can just throw money out the window. I'm pretty comfortable in the middle and not really feeling the effects of it, but I see the effects. And you never know, that bottom could climb up higher, and what is now the middle could someday become the bottom. And I don't think giving away cash is the answer to that. So, you know where my vote goes. But yeah, that's the gist of the debate. A lot of BS, a lot of non-answers, a lot of deflections, and a lot of potentially eaten pets.
That is why, also, starting with our administration, we gave TPS, temporary protected status, to Haitian migrants, 55,000. And then more recently, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants for that very reason, that they need support, they need protection.